headphones actually, because I'm not sure if you can hear me. How are you guys doing? So it's 12:12 here, and I just wanted to come in here to tell you about a very powerful experience I had yesterday. And I was just going to journal on it and just, keep it to myself and maybe put it in one of my future books or whatever. But I feel like that's not the right thing to do yet. I need to share about this because it's so big, and it's so big that it almost, surpassed me. And I guess, I kind of want to call it, what does transcendental even mean? Because really it means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. I just finished having breakfast. And it's this beautiful place called the Yellow Flower that one of my lovely friends here from Bali sent me to have breakfast. And I'm very excited to meet her. She's going to be meeting with me next week, and we're going to do a live together and just interview each other. And so, this experience yesterday, it was truly magical. I spent the whole day almost, on my own. I went to have food at a cafe, we're near where I am, but I just chose to be on my own for the rest of the day. And I meditated and I sat with myself, and I taught a class, like a mini class on sex magic in my own group. And I felt really, I felt a little bit dissociated. I think that's the word. Almost a little dismembered. And it often happens to me when I'm traveling from one country to another. So it's like I enter this sort of jet lag state, even though I wasn't really jet lagged, so to say. Because it's only 3 hours, but there was some kind of dismembering. I felt dismembered. I felt like I'm a little bit scattered, like it's almost like I had to call myself back into presence and just being where I need to be and just be completely present where I am. So what happened is I went and hey Vashi, how you doing? So I went to sit outside for a little bit, and I was just in the garden, and I felt I kind of want to go and try out the pool. And I said, that's probably a good idea. So I went to put on my bikini, and it was all of this, like this whole pace of how I was walking was just really slow. It's like everything started to slow down, I just put all my social media things away, all my gadgets away, and I just, started to move into my body, I guess. And I took my coconut with me because I had ordered a coconut, and just put it on the side of the pool, and, just went into the water, and it was quite cool. It wasn't really warm, and the sun had gone, so it was almost sunset as well. And I felt agitated as I entered the pool. It's like something, was there that was probably the reason why I was feeling dismembered in some way. So I just relaxed and just started breathing and just started to really connect with my senses, with the water, with just being there, just being in this vast space, but especially in this silent space. And I realized that I had not had this sort of silence for a while. I had not felt silence in this way. And so in this silence where I was just, by the pool, I was looking at nature around me, and I was just noticing, and I noticed that I had a lot of thoughts on my mind. And even though there was this beautiful quiet around me and this beautiful silence, I had a lot of thoughts in my mind. It's like literally just, it was just buzzing, some kind of stress, or not sure what exactly it was. Just lots of thoughts, lots of stories going, just coursing through my mind. And so I just allowed myself to be in that space and to just stay there. Hey, Monica. So I just stayed in that silence and was just watching myself. And it's almost like you enter that state, you know, like when you're meditating and you're feeling that your body is sort of shifting. Hey, Louis. Aw, thanks for the love. So you're just transcending, you know, like you're feeling that your mind is navigating out of your body and just noticing, so you become the witness. And so I had not become a witness of myself in this state, in this way, in a very long time. And I was just noticing, just, you know, witnessing nature. And then I saw this snail. So there was this snail on a leaf, and it was trying to reach for the leaf right at the top. And it was stretching and stretching and stretching. And I mean, you could tell that the gravity was pulling the snake down. And it was just an amazing sensation, because there is this beautiful creature, right? And he's just trying to reach that top leaf, and he's having to stretch his whole body. So you have all these antennas and everything is just stretching up. And the pace was so slow, and I was just watching with awe at how the snail was going from one leaf to the other. And I know this sounds crazy, but I was just so mesmerized. I was like, wow, there is this beautiful, beautiful snail. He had like this lovely spiral on his house, on his shell. And I called it a house, the snail house. And then he was just stretching himself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ingenious, right? There's this creature, and he's so beautiful, and he's not giving up. He's literally just like stretching and stretching and stretching, just reaching. And it's just magnificent to see, because as he reached that top leaf with just one part of his body, like the rest of the body just started to slowly, like, you know, suck up, you know, onto the top leaf. And then the rest of the body underneath was just like relaxing and letting go. But there was so much excitement in that moment, and especially because it was going so slowly, and you just think, wow, there is this snail actually lifting up his whole weight with this little section of the rest of his body, which is at the top, right? My I am present alarm has just gone off. He's just pulling his whole weight up, and I just had this epiphany moment, like, oh my God, the snail doesn't even think he can't reach the leaf. The snail doesn't even doubt 1 second that he can't reach it, right? He's just stretching himself until he reaches that leaf. So there was no like disconnection, you know, he was just being in that pure presence, like the next leaf is where he's needing to go. And so all he's doing is he's just extending his whole body and just extending every single cell and all his muscles in order to reach it. And there is never a doubt as how he's going to reach it or not, right? He's just being in the moment. He's just there, you know, truly feeling into the leaf. It's almost like I was having this experience with the snail at the same time. And all of this is just going at, you know, a snail pace, literally. And then I started to notice how nature has such a slow pace, and everything is just slow. The whole rhythm, everything is just in time, in rhythm, right? With each other. There's some kind of dance going on. So I started to notice the leaves and the breeze, and I was literally looking at every single thing with detail. And then I looked at myself and I felt how my body was just like swaying in the water just from side to side. And the pool is really amazing because the height of the water just reaches up to my shoulders. So, you know, there's no struggle to have to like stay up, you know, or to swim higher. It's so that you can stay above water. You can literally stand in the pool, and I was feeling my whole body just floating. Right, but as I was like leaned against the wall, the bottom of my body was just like floating. And then I started to realize how my body was just floating, and there was this effortlessness in the moment. And this effortlessness, almost like this snail that was trying to reach up for the leaf, it felt like, even though I know that there was so much effort being put in, it was effortless because all the snail had to do was just to reach and reach and reach and reach. And being in that flow made it all look like it was effortless, and it was so slow, like the pace was so slow. And then I started to sense that my whole body was sort of navigating in the water with that slow pace as well. And it's almost like something else struck me. I lost a sense of self, and I just started to move in the water. So I started to walk around the pool in the water, and then I started to dance in the water. And everything just felt so fluid and so beautiful and so, like just ecstatic, almost an ecstatic moment. And I just kept floating, and it's like I wasn't thinking I'm going to dance. It's like, no, I was just moving. I was just following the flow of the water, and I was just in there, in that water, feeling how my body was expanding, how it was moving, how it was so beautiful to just be in the water, and feeling the swirls of the water, like, because I was turning, and then as I was turning, I could feel how it was creating some kind of momentum in the water, and the water was then, just kept swirling me around. And as I kept swirling in that amazing pool in nature, I had all these birds just flying by, and I noticed geckos just reaching up, the little plants, and I was just in the middle of the flow, in nature, in that element of water, and I was just there. And all I needed to be was just be. I didn't have to have any agenda. I didn't have to worry about anyone looking at me. I didn't have anything. It was just being in that moment. And it's almost like spirit took over. And I know this sounds crazy, but it's not. I really felt like there was this spirit of dance that was moving my body. And I was just moving. And then I started crying, because I was just overflowing in joy, but also in just being so present. It was so fragile. It was such a fragile moment of just pure divine presence that I started crying. And as I started crying, it started to rain. So I was just there moving in the pool, and I was feeling the rain just like drizzling on my skin. And that, to me, I feel I had a glimpse of what transcendental means, because I had this loss of self at the same time as having an awareness of self. So you're in both realities at the same time, and you're sensing your body, you're sensing how you're so connected to this body that is so connected to nature, that has this amazing ability to feel nature and to feel the elements and to feel everything that's surrounding you. And then at the same time, you're being the witness. And that little glimpse, that slow, silent, steady, quiet, yet full of movement and full of life and joy, that to me was, like now thinking back, that was a transcendental experience, because it's almost like my body was allowing me to have this sensation that was so heightened and so elevated. And at the same time, I was watching myself having the experience. And it was so magical. And I just, felt like I had to come in here to share this with you, because there's so many times when we get so entangled in our thoughts and in the stories that we're trying to be or create, and the things we need to do, and we miss these moments of pure flow. We just miss it. And it's just that one little second sometimes that it takes to just reactivate the connection and to really notice what's surrounding you, and to notice people who are with you, to notice the objects in the room, to notice all of this hologram that we are navigating in as human beings. And I mean, if you're really connected to that, if you're really like expanding into that consciousness and into that awareness, it's just like the snail. You don't have to worry if you're going to get up to the leaf. Like, you're just going to be flowing. You don't need to worry about whether you're too heavy or too light or whatever. Like, there's no worry in that moment. You're just being in that pure presence. And also, when you're just being in that present moment with yourself, where you can both have the experience of being in your body and feeling life with all your senses, and then at the same time to be the witness, it's like your whole mind stretches the ability of noticing and almost celebrating. Like you enter a state of celebration more than just the state of presence, you know? It's like it's celebration, and nature keeps celebrating all the time, you know? And it's just this flow, this connection. It's almost like I'm running out of words, because it's almost like words can't describe what is actually transcendental. Like, transcendental is truly a deep, deep experience within yourself, within your own body, within your nature, within you, right? Within your consciousness. And so I invite you today to slow down, like to slow down even more than you ever slowed down. And if you see a snail, or if you see one of these beautiful beings who just move really slowly like an ant, just watch them. Just watch these animals. Just watch these beings, or just watch the breeze, you know, in the trees. Even if you're in a city, just watch how there's a grass blade and it's just moving very gently. And maybe it's not moving at all. It looks like it's not moving. And connect to that rhythm, because in that rhythm you can find so much, you know, like it's, and you cannot sense that transcendental state if you don't slow down. This is why I believe that, you know, the city life and the ways that we are educated to be in the world, you know, with working all these hours and clocking the time and then rushing from one place to the other and then rushing to see this person, going to meet that person, and then on social media as well, everything is so rushed. Like, we're just in this overflow of information constantly that we can't even, you know, like that rush, that energy is beautiful. But if you really want to be able to connect to the depths of your heart and the depths of your yoni and the depths of your lingam and the depths of your whole soul and your being, you've got to slow down. And this is why meditation can be a tool to access it, but it's not everything. Because if you're just sitting down in your room and just meditating and just going in your mental meditation state, that's easy. But try to really have that meditation with nature, with your surroundings, with your hologram, and really slow down your thinking, slow down that voice in the brain that keeps going, the chatter. Just slow it down and just inhale life around you, you know? Just inhale it, like all the way. Just let it move you. And even when you're dancing, like if you dance, or if you move, if you do sports, like there's a way for you to connect on a much deeper level and really like almost do everything with connection and with purpose and with awareness. You know, it's almost like, I want to say, it's not the purpose, it's the awareness of how you're doing it. To take those 5 seconds to slow everything down in your mind and to really connect with your body, with your senses, and with how it feels to do what you're doing, how it feels to be walking, you know, really feel like your feet like connecting to the ground, you know, to the fabrics that you're wearing right now. All these things are a means for you to access this natural pace that we all have within, you know, truly being in your bodily sensations at the same time as being in your awareness and in your consciousness, and, you know, both being the experience and the witness of the experience. That to me is transcendental. And in order to access those states, you've got to slow down. You can't access those states if you don't slow down. It's almost impossible, because in slowing down, you are inhaling, like really take in that deep breath and feel how that just one inhale is changing the whole physiology in your body. There's like so much happening in just that one inhale, right? How the the body is just expanding, how your organs are being pushed down or aside, how your body is lifting, how your posture is changing just with that one inhale, right? So yeah, I just wanted to come in here and share this with you. I don't know if you got anything out of this, but I feel like you do. I feel like if you've been watching all the way until now and you were able to slow down with me, that there's something there for you. So I hope this inspired you in some way, that it was useful to you in some way, and that you will be the snail today that doesn't doubt that he's going to go, he's going to reach that top leaf. But just to be in the flow and just keep stretching and keep stretching and keep stretching and keep stretching. And then when you're on that leaf, just gently remove the bottom part of your body and just allow yourself to be lifted off in flow, because we have that ability to transcend, to enter the higher plane, to be connecting those two planes, just like the snail was connecting himself to the bottom leaf and the top leaf with this beautiful flow that was going slowly. You can have that same experience. You can have those two leaf experiences going on at the same time, being fully connected to your body and connected to the witness of your body. Eye gazing is really powerful as well. It's one thing that I feel has truly allowed me to connect deeply to human beings and to animals, especially to babies. Actually, I love eye gazing with babies, because when you're looking at a baby's eye, it's so peaceful, it's so full of life, and there's a lot of curiosity and a lot of joy, and at the same time just presence. So really eye gazing and connecting to a baby or to a loved one is another way that you can use to slow down and to be really in tune with those beings who are connected to you right now in your life. There's this guy called Donald Walsh. He says that the eyes are the window to the soul. And I really believe that. I believe that whenever I eye gaze with someone, I really am able to connect to them in a different way, Even sometimes I remember being in London and having a lot of anxiety and stress and things going on. And then I would meet someone who would be able to eye gaze with me for just 5 seconds. And then you exchange a smile. And everything changes in the way you perceive reality, in the way you feel it's like we're so disconnected from each other, especially in big cities. It's so easy to go about your day and to just be alone, to just be by yourself. And having all lovely gadgets that I'm using right now is also a way of disconnecting. I'm connecting with you right now, but I really hope to inspire you to go out and connect with life, because if you're feeling lonely or anxious or stressed about anything, that just means that you haven't connected to life for a while. And I mean to connect really deeply, to connect so deeply that you just naturally feel this overflow of joy and beauty and celebration. I love to dive into your soul, Lewis. You're an amazing human being. And everyone who's watching, just feel into life. If you've been feeling stressed or anxious or worried or disconnected, you just haven't connected to life. That's all it is. So jump off this live stream, close your phone down, and go and connect with life. Go and connect with the universe that is surrounding you, with this hologram that you've created and that you're fully in there. I wish you an amazing day, or evening, or a night, wherever you are. Know that you are loved. Know that you are connected. Know that there's always a possibility for you to rekindle that connection to life. Experience it with your whole body, with your whole being, with every single cell of you. Just breathe into it.
Hello, how are you?
I'll chat to you soon.